your character, I mean, how was that originally how was that originally described to you?
It was originally described as, I know she was Latina. She was part of this group of survivors in New York, one of the leaders kind of thing. That's basically how I remember it. And they didn't say like, badass, but
Yeah.
I got a sense of that.
Yeah. When you read for the part, had they given you much sort of background information on the character, or is that something they completely keep under wraps until you got the part?
I mean, honestly, it depends on the role. So what they gave about her was more like, she really cares about her family, the people that she cares about, people in her tribe. But a lot of her backstory was something that I came up with that, I built for her, I built for myself. I made sure that it was very personal to her, so that it was real in the world that we lived in. And, some of that might be discussed with, let's say Eli, the showrunner writer, and some of it might not. Some of it is just like a personal choice. But I know that like she was originally written as Latina, and on the script it said Puerto Rican. And when I spoke to Eli, I asked if we could make her Dominican because I'm Dominican, and I wanted to represent. And I had auditioned with the curly hair. I thought that was important for me. Yeah, I was like, no, she's born in Washington Heights. She's Dominican, curly hair, that kind of thing. So a lot of it was really like my own personal story to her.
Yeah, that comes across. I mean, the character really comes across like, I think all of them are such sort of strong kind of characters anyway, but the love for the people like you were describing, like your family and stuff, that really comes across right from the first like get-go there. Yeah.
Thank you. That was important to me. I'm like, in terms of her purpose after all of the stuff that went down, it's like that was something that was really intentional for her.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you're a fan of the Walking Dead franchise before, but I'm going to guess.
Yeah, The Walking Dead, it's so funny because it's something that I had heard about for a while. And then I was asked to watch it one day. And I was like, no way, like zombie stuff, like horror. I was like, no, like bloody stuff. I was like, my system is not going to be able to take it. And I was convinced to watch it. And so I watched the first episode and I was hooked, like in terms of the psychology behind the people going through all of this, who they meet, who they end up grouping with, and the issues that they face. I was like, this is really interesting. And I'm like, I feel like this is definitely what would happen to people if something like this occurred.
How long do you think you would last in a zombie apocalypse?
I would fight to the death. I'm like, I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna protect mine, like till the very end. So it's kind of like with her, like you prepare, you make sure that like you're physically as strong as you can be, that you learn certain combat stuff, like whatever you need to protect yourself. And she's been at it since she was a kid. So for me, I really related to who she was because I was like, this would be me. Like, yeah. I'm like, I would get it together to survive as much as I could.
Yeah. Get a family, get together, go from there. Yeah. Cool. When did you actually find out about the role? Like, how did you find out about it?
Funny story. I had auditioned for it and I was really excited about this audition. And, after like a week or two, I was like, oh man, like I gotta let this one go. Let me just whatever. And one day I'm in the shower and I get a call from my manager.
Of course.
I took my phone in the bathroom as we normally do.
Yeah.
And I see that my manager called and I'm like, oh, I'll call her back when I'm done. And she calls again. And I was like, okay, I think this might be important. So I pick up and she's like, it's either good news or bad news. And she told me that I landed the role. And I like screamed and cried in the bathroom in nakedness.
So did they tell you as well that it was going to be like a Maggie and Negan spin-off, or did you just know that it was going to be sort of a new sort of story?
They mentioned Maggie and Negan on the audition breakdown, but I didn't know who I was going to work with because the scenes didn't have their names. They had switched them up.
I see. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And by the way, when I did find that out, I was very excited because that was
Yeah,
obviously one of the iconic storylines. And I was like, no way. Yeah.
Cool. Was it intimidating as well? Like, because all of them have kind of worked together previously. So although it's a new show, was it just a little bit intimidating going into that?
Great question. The first day on set, I was nervous and I had the thoughts of like, oh my gosh, like, I wonder how it's going to be. They've worked together for so long. And so, yeah, I had a little bit of that going on and I was like, all right, I'll use it. But, you know, as soon as I walked on set, like Lauren embraced me and gave me a hug. And then Jeffrey was very, you know, sweet. And they were just like open from day one. And, you know, as time went on, just getting to know them, it was really great. But that was so important to have her just welcome me with open arms that way. I'm like, this is such amazing, like supportive, loving etiquette. And maybe she knew like, okay, you know, this is somebody new. I don't know. But that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. I suppose it's kind of the character in itself anyway, because it's the same sort of situation. You're like, it's two new groups kind of meeting. That must have helped with sort of character development. Who are you the most excited to actually share a scene with as well?
What am I most excited? Who was I most excited?
Yeah.
The
Walkers.
The Walkers. Exactly, the Walkers. Honestly, just Lauren and Jeffrey, I was very excited to work with them because of knowing like the storyline and being such a fan of the show. I was like, whoa, that's amazing that I'll get to like, you know, put in my own work into this with them. I was very happy and honored, honestly. So plus the Walkers, that was awesome.
Absolutely. I imagine that being so creepy.
It was awesome.
They just zombies.
Yeah, they would just walk around, stand there, and it was like, whoa.
What was your favorite moment, sort of like either on set or behind the scenes? And you can say sitting eating lunch and with the Walkers. That's cool. There was a scene where in between shots, I don't know what it was that I said. Me and Lauren were talking and I don't remember. I don't think she remembers either, but I don't know what silliness I was talking about. And we were just cracking up for like minutes. And then in between takes, we would start cracking up again. That was like one of my favorite moments. Like when you get the giggles and you can't come back from it.
We had the giggles and it was great. It was great.
Cool.
Oh, and also there was another fun thing where we were shooting and I let out a very New York year, which some people don't know about, but it's a very New York thing.
Okay.
And people were cracking up and Jeffrey was like, what is that? And I was like, you don't know what year is?
Yeah.
And him and Lauren were trying to say it the whole time. It was really funny and great.
Cool. What has it been like generally being part of the entire Walking Dead franchise?
It's been surreal, honestly. It's been surreal. It's a huge franchise. I saw how committed the fans were when we were shooting and they would show up sometimes. I was like, whoa, they really love the show.
Yeah.
And I feel very honored to be a part of that. Like, you know, to tell the story and to be able to share that globally it's kind of a big deal, and it's surreal. Like, this is something I wanted to do since I was little, and I didn't get a chance to really, or the opportunity to really do this till I was an adult and decided, like, I actually do want to try. So it's been very surreal, and I keep thinking about little Karina, not even thinking this was possible at the time, and I'm kind of in that place where I'm like, wow, I'm just really grateful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So other than that, have you been doing any other projects, or does it keep you, like, has it kept you pretty intensely like busy for like the last few years? I'm not sure how long it takes you guys to film, but
Oh yeah, no, we shot last year for a couple of months, and right now I do have some stuff in the works. I can't speak on it yet, but I'm excited. I'm excited, and then I'll definitely be sharing that on my social.
cool. What would you like to say to everyone who are fans and supporters of your work, of all the work that you do on the screens?
I would say thank you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for taking time out of your life to sit down and watch, either The Walking Dead or whatever. If you see me on anything else, and also reached out in any way, like, I really appreciate that, because you put yourself out there, and it's a very vulnerable thing to do, so to create art and then put it out for everyone to see. So I'm honestly just filled with a lot of gratitude, and I'm humbled. And yeah, I would just say thank you. And thank you for, supporting. Thank you for believing. Thank you for leaving messages and showing love even on social. I see it, I appreciate it. And yeah, more to come. And sending my love.